Hello all. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Welcome.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Kanika ma'am, you can start. We are live actually.
दीपाली तू चालू करते ना?
Hello.
हाँ दीपाली तू चालू करती है ना?
Good afternoon, all. Our life is shaped by our mind, for we become what we think. I, 𝓑𝓾𝓭𝓮, on behalf of the Cultural Committee, Don Bosco Institute of Technology, welcome you all for the webinar on mindfulness, a concept which will teach us to live in the present without holding the thoughts of the past and being anxious for the future. To put some more light on this subject, I would request Dr. 𝓵𝓲𝓪𝓽, our principal, to share her thoughts.
Thank you, Deepali. Good afternoon to everybody who has logged into this webinar. Dear viewers, as we look at the endless cycles of lockdowns at various levels of intensity, the uncertainty of the future is making us very restless and also probably very nervous. The well-being of our loved ones, especially those who are physiologically vulnerable due to age and other ailments, is causing us a great deal of concern. And in this state of mind, it becomes increasingly difficult for all of us to focus on our mental well-being. And we have another additional challenge. This is about getting used to new ways of learning and teaching, because there is no format or template for success. It's trial and error to see what works and what doesn't. In the midst of all this, we have the overreaching need to unwind and relax, take a few moments for ourselves. So right now, though we don't have to stress over reaching our workplace in time and rushing for our assignments, we have been so conditioned to living life at a fast pace that maintaining a slow pace is itself stressing us. Not spending enough time with family has always been one of our pet peeves. But now, even with this godsend opportunity available to us, are we really relaxed and are we enjoying every moment we have? I don't think so. So being mindful about our actions and thoughts is something that we need to learn and practice. How do we train our body and mind to live in the moment and live every minute? And how do we develop a positive outlook? I'm extremely happy that the Cultural Committee of DBIT has chosen this very important topic of mindfulness as today's webinar topic. We are indeed fortunate to have Ms. Kanika Sharma of Gyanodaya as today's resource person. On behalf of DBIT, I welcome Ms. Kanika and thank her for offering to conduct this session for us. And I thank the Cultural Committee for having selected such an interesting topic for today's discussion. So without taking any more of your time, I welcome you all to have a very interesting and a very impactful session. And I now hand over the mic to Deepali. So Deepali, over to you again.
Hello. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your encouraging words. It was wonderful listening to you. Now, I would like to introduce our speaker, Ms. Kanika Sharma. Kanika is passionate about working with people and transforming lives. With almost 13 years of corporate experience, she has a master's degree in psychology from Delhi University and is currently working with Gyanodaya-Aditya Birla Group's Global Center for Leadership Learning. Here, she is working on design and delivery of programs on self-leadership and mindset of leaders. She is working on a large-scale initiative in the organization to enable people in adopting mindfulness as a way of life. Kanika started on a personal journey of exploring self through various methodologies where she got introduced to mindfulness. She experimented with different schools of thoughts and got exposed to different techniques like Vipassana in her journey. She is also a Reiki level 2 practitioner and believes strongly in the mind-body connection. It is her passion and endeavor to take mindfulness to as many people as possible. We are happy to have you amongst us today, Kanika. Now, without further ado, I would request Ms. Kanika to start her session.
Thank you, Deepali, and thank you, Dr. Prasanna. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible. Yes, you're audible, Kanika.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Deepali, and thank you, Dr. Prasanna, for such a good introduction. And I was listening with great intent when Dr. Prasanna was talking about what is happening currently and where are we currently, all of us. And one thing which was crossing my mind was that all of us are in together in whatever is happening, whatever is the state right now in the world. And yes, we have got an opportunity to take a pause, and we have got an opportunity to really reflect and think. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, Deepali, for coming here and having an interaction with all of you. So all of us are physically here. I know all of you have logged in into your systems, mostly through your laptops or your desktops or your phones. But mentally, I want you all to be here as well. So I know it's Saturday evening, although all of us are in our homes, but a lot must be running on our minds. What has to be cooked for dinner? Is there any new movie on Netflix? Am I going to have my coffee on time today? Or did I have my medicine? Or did I give medicine to my loved one? Or, so on and so forth. So there are a lot of things running in our mind, and I would like you all to just take a moment and close your eyes. Just close your eyes and relax. And keep breathing normally. And just observe your breath as you're breathing. You don't need to take any deep breaths. Just keep breathing normally the way you do. And observe your breath as you're breathing in and as you're breathing out. Take 3 breaths as you observe your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Open your eyes and just observe your surroundings. Take a good look at your laptop or your desktop. Or if you're sitting near a window, take a look outside the window. How is the weather? It has been raining at least since here since morning. Are there any plants outside? Or if you have a wall in front of you, observe the wall. Just become more aware of where you're sitting right now. How you're sitting, how is your posture? I hope you're comfortable. Ensure that you're comfortably seated with minimal distractions. Keep a bottle of water with you. Also keep a pen and notepad if possible with you. So I'm hoping even mentally now you're here with me. And on that note, I would just take a few more moments to introduce myself. As Dipali and Dr. Prasanna mentioned, I'm Kanika Sharma, and I am working with Aditya Birla Group. So Aditya Birla Group has a leadership center based in Navi Mumbai, and I'm based out of that. I have, as Dipali mentioned, I did my bachelor's and master's in psychology from Delhi University. Although I specialized in industrial psychology, and as it may sound very cliched for any psychology student, I was always intrigued by human behavior and human mind. I was my favorite subject, and I experimented a lot on myself. So I have been on this personal journey where I had this thing of exploring myself. And years ago, obviously, mindfulness was not a very, very known area or topic. And, I went through some process labs. I was exposed to some different techniques of meditation, and that's how I also got exposed to Vipassana. Having said that, it so happened, and as Rumi said, what you seek is seeking you. In Aditya Birla Group, it so happened that we were discussing a couple of years back, and we felt the need of introducing mindfulness. The challenge for us was mindfulness is also at times a very misunderstood concept. And we will talk more about it as we get into the session in detail. But mindfulness in a corporate world can be misunderstood and can have different connotations. So for us, the challenge was how to bring it in a very graceful way, so that the impact and the positive impact for mindfulness is being, at least we can create the awareness about that, if that is the least we can do. And that's how I got even more into the space of mindfulness. I also had a good fortune of attending Google's flagship program, Search Inside Yourself, which is completely on mindfulness. Last year, I think they conducted for the first time in Mumbai and in India. And I was part of one of the sessions there. So this has been my journey in very crisp and very brief. As far as lockdown is concerned, again, it so happened that I am all alone by myself in this lockdown. And I'm the only one taking care of myself. I am the only one to throw tantrums at myself, and cook food for myself and clean house for myself. So there is a lot more that I am learning about myself, and mindfulness has really helped me in navigating through these times. So my invitation to all of you is that in the next 90 minutes or so that we are present, have an open mind, have a beginner's mind. I don't know, how many of you are introduced to the concept. Having said that, there is always something new that we can learn. And in fact, for me on a daily basis, I am learning something new as far as mindfulness is concerned. Mindfulness is a journey. It is a way of life. It is not a one-time activity, or it's not a one-time practice. It is a way of life. In fact, a very simple way of introducing mindfulness is when you are building a muscle, and if some of you have had the experience of going to a gym or doing any sort of physical activity, you may have realized that to build a muscle, you need to keep on practicing. So if I need to build my biceps, I need to keep moving that dumbbell every day at least for a given time period in a day. Unless I don't do that, I won't be able to build that muscle. And the same is with mindfulness. If I don't do that in a focused and in an intention way, I may fail somewhere to build that mindfulness muscle. Often we tend to confuse mindfulness with meditation, and we will talk also more about that. It's not that mindfulness is meditation or meditation is mindfulness. So we will not confuse, and we will not use those terms interchangeably. And I would like to share my screen. Dipali, let me know if you are able to see it. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, it is visible.
Great. Thank you. Yeah. So talking about mindfulness, and before mindfulness, there was an interesting research that probably you may have also heard about because you are part of academic institute. It so happens that about 70,000 thoughts cross our mind on a daily basis. So our mind is full of thoughts all the time. And it is very much possible that for you and me to get carried away by those thoughts. In fact, another research said that 47% of the time our mind wanders in a day. So it is almost close to 50% of our time in a day that we are actually just not in a mindful state, if I can say. So we are distracted almost half of our waking hours in a day. Now, to understand what mindfulness is, and this is one metaphor which I like to use. To understand light, it is important to understand what darkness is. And therefore, let's spend some time in understanding what actually is not mindfulness. So let's look at what a mindful expert is. And in fact, for many years, until I was not introduced to mindfulness, I realized that I was a mindless expert. What is mindlessness, or what is what is being a mindless frame of mind? Typically, what happens is that we have a very automated behavior. Our responses are very reactive and very automated. The way we have been conditioned since childhood, the way our experiences have been, we have wired ourselves in a way that we respond in a very reactive way. So typically, so 𝓑𝓮𝓬𝓸 is known as mother of mindfulness. She is a professor of psychology in Harvard. And in her book, she mentions that there are three ways through which you can actually make out a mindless expert. So one is we are trapped by categories. So for example, a person from a particular community is or behaves in a certain way. Our previous habits bind us in a big way. We are prisoners of our previous habits. There are times when we wake up, there are one or two things that we typically do. There are some people, like I know my friend's mother, she'll wake up and she'll just start, brooming the house. And she says, because her mother used to do that, she's so used to seeing that every day of her life. Now she's also got used to that. So because of previous habits, and automated behavior is something, we tend to do. Also, there is most of the time we feel that there is a single perspective or a single answer to a situation. If you look at this pandemic currently, and when initially it happened in India, when it became a big thing in the month of March, April, the initial reaction of people was that what is going to happen? In the sense, there was a lot of uncertainty, which is still there. However, at that time, I think the level of anxiety and uncertainty, the mindset of scarcity was way high. Unless we started to think, okay, there is another way of also living life. We can still work from home. There is a possibility to be at home and still manage work and manage home. There are possibilities to go out and get essentials. There is a way of life now that we have to live. So we have to we have to rather adapt to it. So our perspective towards this scenario is also changing. So typically what happens is that because we've been living in a certain way, we are not forcing ourselves to move out of a particular way of thinking or living. We tend to live in a mindless way. And the purpose of mindfulness is nothing but, being aware. So moving from our autopilot responses to a state of awareness is what mindfulness talks about. And, as easy as it may sound, it is easy. And if you think it is not easy, it is difficult, it will be as difficult. But as I said, it is a way of life. It takes time, it takes practice to make it a part of your life. And therefore, what mindfulness means is that it means maintaining moment by moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, body sensations, and surrounding environment. Let's not get too much attached to the definition. What we're trying to say here is that just focus on 2-3 things. One is having an awareness. So for awareness, what is important? Awareness, attention. Attention is very important. And that's why, when I was initially mentioning why we confuse meditation with mindfulness, because meditation is a tool that helps you practice mindfulness. In fact, somebody was sharing their story with me that when they got introduced to the space of mindfulness, and when they went to their teacher and they wanted to learn meditation, what they learned was that meditation is not a practice. Again, meditation, you have to live moment by moment in a meditative state of being. That is what mindfulness is. It doesn't mean you have to go to a mountain, you have to climb up a mountain, sit there in an asana and close your eyes, and that is what mindfulness is. No, mindfulness can be lived in your daily life, when you're doing your household chores, when you're doing your college work, office work, you're studying. That is when actually mindfulness has to be practiced. However, it involves awareness of your thoughts, of your feelings, your sensations, and your environment. So if you can recall, just some time back when we moved into the session, I requested all of you to just arrive here, to be here in the moment. So physically, all of us were here, but probably mentally, there were a lot of things running on our mind. And what I did was just help you arrive in this moment to be here with me for next 90 minutes. In fact, when I was discussing with Dipali and I was thinking that, what is it that I should be doing with, with a bunch of people who are already so learned, how do I introduce mindfulness to them? And there are so many things that can be done, or there are so many facets of mindfulness that can be spoken about. I thought what is true to the current reality is really the way we are dealing with our emotions. And as Dr. Prasanna also really rightly mentioned about how we're dealing with this uncertainty, anxiety, emotions, I felt that is really true for most of us in these times. And I thought, why not introduce the concept of emotions? Why not talk about emotional awareness using mindfulness? And for next few minutes or so that we're together we're going to talk about and explore emotions using mindfulness. Emotions, again, to make it easy, all of us know we experience emotions on a daily basis every day. In fact, emotions comes from a Latin word, e-move. Move means moving, and e means out. So it's outlet of feelings, or it is feelings in motion, as they say. And emotion is not I'm feeling good, I'm feeling bad. Good and bad are not emotions. Emotions is much more than that. It is important to increase our vocabulary of emotions. That will help us identify what we are experiencing. Emotion is nothing but it is a response to a stimuli. The stimuli can be external, stimuli can be internal. And usually, if I talk about a textbook definition says that a degree of pleasure and displeasure is attached with emotions. So that's in brief what emotions is. I have a quick activity for you all. If you can go to this website so you can use your laptop or your phone, you can even use the QR code which I have mentioned here. So you can open your phone camera, scan the QR code. It will lead you to www.menti.com and just put the code 866829. I would repeat, you can use your laptop or your phone and log into www.menti.com, or you can use this QR code. And the code you have to mention there is 866829. And in one word, can you write for me which is the emotion that you have felt strongly in last 2 days? Okay, we are receiving responses. Anxiety is a big one that we can see. Uncertainty. We can see some positive emotions also. Love, hope, relaxed. We see fear, annoyance, worry, lazy, bored. That is interesting. Okay, so the range of emotions, if I can talk about, and thanks for not writing good and bad. I'm very glad you all did not write that. And the range of emotions, I think across the spectrum is something that I can see here. So even anger, anxiety, depression, fear, joy, uncertainty, future happenings, annoyance. Thank you for sharing. Thanks so much for sharing. So the idea of doing this, a little activity with you all, was to start getting you into tapping into yourself and just taking a moment and realizing what are you going through. It so happens we go through emotions, we even don't know that we have gone through it. We are not even able to name it. We don't know what is the impact it has left on us. And therefore, my invitation for you was to just think, reflect in last 2 days, what are the emotions you have gone through. And on that note, I would quickly talk about some basic emotions that you might be already aware of. Some basic emotions that we go through typically are happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. And if you expand on these emotions, you will see there are multitude of shades of emotions that one goes through. I would urge all of you to once after the session is closed, and if you are interested more in increasing your vocabulary around emotions, do read about Ekman's wheel. It really gives a lot of insight into the depth of the emotion that one can go through. I may feel today that I am feeling sad, but actually if I deep dive, I might be feeling, as somebody shared, a feeling bored or sleepy or just ashamed or guilty. And I may further be feeling miserable or inadequate. So sad has various shades that I can move into and see into depth what sad means. Similarly, joyful. I might feel feeling very excited, or I might be feeling very energetic. And if I further explore that, I might be very stimulated. I might be very amused. I might be fascinated by something. So I feel for us as adults now, it is important to increase our vocabulary and understanding of emotions, to know what you're experiencing, to name what you're experiencing is critical for awareness. Now, this is a very interesting experiment that I came across, and I was in completely awe of it. This is the life of work of Dr. David Hawkins. In fact, he was given the title of Sir because of the kind of contribution he had done in the space of consciousness and emotions. If you see, this is nothing but a scale of consciousness that he came with. He was a researcher, psychiatrist, physicist, and so on and so forth. And in his lifetime of research, what he found was, now, if you see the numbers in this picture, these numbers are nothing but vibratory frequencies. So he created some formula and some algorithm through which he came with some vibratory frequencies for each emotion. And you can see there are several emotions starting from shame to enlightenment, which are being mentioned on the scale. And the number adjacent to each emotion is actually the vibratory frequency of that emotion. And how he measured that? He measured that using a technique he actually evolved. It was a muscle testing technique, which he called applied kinesiology. And what he said was, rather what he researched was, that 78% of people are at the frequency of 200 and below. That means it is high possibility that you and me are largely going through the emotions which are 200 and below of vibration frequency. So if you can see, starting from shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, and courage. These are the range of emotions that almost 80% of the population experience. And there is another very interesting insight that he came up with. He said that if a person in his life or her lifetime is able to calibrate at the level of 600, where peace is written, that person can counterbalance the so-called impact of people, 10 million such people who are vibrating at the frequency of 200 and below. Yeah, so that is the power of emotion. That is why they say feelings in motion, because they are creating some frequency. They are doing something to us and to the environment and to the people around us. And if you can see the emotions below, they sort of contract us. They sort of so-called lead to suffering. And as you expand, as you move upwards, they lead you to some sort of flow or enlightenment, which we say Buddha consciousness is at the level of 700 to 1000. So we need not worry about moving from A to B right now, or from anger to joy. Our purpose is not to really bucket emotions into negative or positive. And I am a firm believer of the fact that none of the emotion is really positive or negative. Every emotion has a role to play. Like, for example, anger is not a negative emotion. Anger has a strong role to play. It is for us to understand why anger, why am I going through this? So please don't discard any emotion that you may be feeling right now. You don't have to feel that, oh my God, I'm suffering because I'm going through some sort of fear or grief. My invitation to you would be to not feel like that. The purpose is to show how, if we don't identify that we're going through something, and therefore if we don't identify the impact it can create on us, that would be, I think, a sad situation. So as long as we know it, we're accepting it, and we're working towards it, that is enough. On that note, we will get into an experiential activity. I would request you all to be comfortably seated. You can sit with your legs folded if you're sitting on a mat or on the floor. If you're sitting on a chair, please see to it that your back is erect. Your feet is touching the ground. And if you're wearing specs, please remove your specs. Sit in a comfortable position. Don't make yourself in an uncomfortable posture. Be alert yet comfortable. And close your eyes. Become aware of your surroundings. What are the sounds that you can hear? Is there any noise from the nearby room? Can you hear the clock ticking? Can you hear the sound of the fan moving? Do you hear any noise from outside the window? Are there any birds chirping? If it's raining, can you hear the rain fall? Pay close attention to sound in the room that you're sitting. And slowly bring your attention to your breath. Pay attention as you're breathing in As you're inhaling through your nostrils, feel the cold air going inside your nostrils, through your lungs, to your stomach. And as you breathe out, pay close attention to your breath as you breathe out, through your lungs, through your nostrils. Can you feel the warm air coming out of your nostrils? With me again, breathe in once again and pay close attention to your breath as you breathe in. And breathe out. Feel your toes and your feet, your sole. Is it touching the ground or the floor? Is it feeling hot or is it feeling cold? Become aware of your feet, of your toes, of your ankle. Become aware of any sensations happening there. Slowly move your attention upwards to your calf muscles, to your knees. Are there any sensations in that part of your body? And slowly move up to your thighs. Become aware of the clothes that you're wearing, it getting touched with the skin of your legs, with the skin of your thighs. Become aware of every sensation. Become aware of the sensation in your legs. Are you feeling heavy there? Is there any pain in any part of the leg? If so, just focus on that part of your legs and imagine you're releasing that pain. Take a deep breath as you release the pain and breathe out. Move your attention to your pelvic region, to your back, and move upward with your spine. Become aware of any sensations in that part of your body. Is there any pain, any particular sensation there? Do you feel anything at that part of your body? Are your muscles tight in your pelvic area or in your spinal area? And take a moment to release those muscles and relax those muscles. As you relax yourself, breathe in and breathe out. Become aware of your stomach and the area around your stomach. Become aware of any emotions, if so, you have stored in your stomach. Bring awareness to your stomach. And take a deep breath. Ensure that the breath reaches your stomach. And breathe out. Take one more deep breath. Ensures it reaches your stomach. And breathe out. Relax your stomach. Relax the muscles of your stomach and the area around your stomach. Now move towards your chest. And focus on the area around your heart and your chest. Are you feeling anything there? Is there any sensation that you're feeling? You're feeling hot, you're feeling cold, you're not feeling anything. If there is any stress in that part of your body, just imagine releasing all the stress as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Now focus your attention to your hands, your fingers, and your shoulders. How do your shoulders feel? How do your hands feel? If there is any stress, any tight muscles in that part of your body, become aware of it and imagine yourself relaxing those muscles as you breathe in and you breathe out. And move upward towards your neck, towards your face. Pay close attention to your jaws. Do you feel your jaws are tight? Relax those muscles. Relax your forehead. Become aware of your facial muscles, your forehead, your jaws, and relax it completely. Become aware of any sensations on your face and relax it. And move your attention towards your head. How are you feeling there? If you're getting any thoughts, don't fight with those thoughts. Just bring your attention back to your head. And relax. Focus your attention to your entire body, starting from your toe fingers to your feet, to your legs, to your pelvic, your back, your stomach, your chest, your hands, your shoulders, your neck, your face, your head. And relax your body completely. Become aware of your body as one. Take a deep breath. Inhale. And breathe out. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. If you feel like, you can have some water. Some of you have joined on Zoom, and can you share on chat anything that you felt, or which part of your body you felt any sensation, or you felt any emotions? Okay, we have some of you sharing. I will not, if you want, you can write it privately to me. I will not be disclosing your name. So one of the friends is sharing that stomach felt happy after release of some past buried emotion. Amazing. Burning sensation on hands. Okay. Pain in the back. Thanks for sharing. If at all, after this activity, you're feeling a bit uncomfortable or there is a pain somewhere, just take a moment to focus on that part of your body and relax that part of your body. If you're feeling pain in your back, it's completely fine. Any sort of pain sensation, it is very normal after doing this activity. You can have a sip of water and focus on that part of your body and imagine that you're relaxing that part of your body completely. Dipali, if you're getting any responses from YouTube and you want to share here.
Yes, we are getting few responses on YouTube. Like people have written that my shoulder, like one 𝓵𝓲𝓷𝓭 has written, my shoulder had little pain before this, but now I'm feeling relaxed. Then Pranati Gupta has written that she's feeling relaxed. And 𝓑𝓱𝓪𝓽 is writing that he's actually thanking you for the wonderful experience. He's feeling deeply relaxed, and the emotions he's experienced was peace and calmness. So we are getting good response on YouTube as well.
Thank you. Thanks, Dipali. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Let's move ahead. And this is just to quickly tell you, what we've been talking about. This is another interesting study that I came across. Newman Ma is a Finnish psychologist, and he also has done intensive study in the space of emotions and their connection with body. If you see this slide right now, it shows you there are certain emotions here, and you can see colors in the body. Now, what he did was, this is sort of a thermal imaging, and he measured the sensations that people feel when they go through certain emotions. So any emotion which is dark, not dark, but rather more red in shade, red, orange, golden, yellow, means more sensation. And black means neutral. And further below, blue means no sensation. Now, for example, when you feel happy, can't you feel that in your entire body? Can't you feel those sensations, feeling of joy and happiness in your whole body? So that is what he measured. when somebody, when they say that they are depressed, haven't you heard people saying, I'm not feeling anything, I don't feel anything? That's because even physically they are not feeling anything. If you see this diagram, this whole part of the body, it's black. That means there are no feelings, it's neutral. And blue also means no sensation. Anger, typically when people feel angry, the upper part of the body, don't we say that you have become red in anger? That's because that part of a body becomes so much filled with sensations and emotions, that it shows in also in experiments, and here it is quite evident. So when we are going through certain emotions, emotions are playing in a body, they are coming through a body in different ways. In fact, studies say that for most of our ailments, stress is the biggest factor, and emotions lead to many ailments. The root cause of many ailments is emotions. And in fact, if you are more interested, do study about the work done by Louise Hay. She has written a book known as Heal Your Life, where she mentions only by purely basis of understanding of emotions and their impact on body, how you can cure certain ailments. And that is a lot of deep work. That's a whole life that she had dedicated in this space of work. Oh, now the next question is, emotions is part of our life. We can't do away with emotions. If I'm human, I am going to feel something. So now my job is, once I am aware, and also, what I have learned is, for example, it helps, although, it takes again a lot of practice. When I'm going through an emotion that I'm not able to deal with, or I'm feeling overwhelmed with, rather than saying that, I am angry, sometimes it helps in just saying, I am experiencing anger. That way, I'm also distancing that emotion that probably I feel currently is not doing good to me or is overwhelming. And if I dissociate myself a bit from that emotion, it helps for that time being. So you are not your thoughts, or you are not those emotions. That's very transitory. Therefore, it is critical how you're even forming your thoughts around your emotions. What is your self-talk? What are you telling yourself around that emotion becomes important. And therefore, it is important to know, how do we regulate these emotions? And there is no one answer. If you ask me, how do I manage anger? What do I do with my anxiety? What do I do with my fear? Honestly, I will not have one answer. In fact, each one of us have our own ways of understanding and dealing with it. However, there are certain ways, and with years of research, that has proved to be helpful. And let's have a quick look at it if that can be of any use to us. One very simple is delayed response, and it typically happens. It so happens at workplace when you're working with people, or even at home. Sometimes we don't get along well with everyone, and we tend to be very reactive with those people. So, in my personal experience, if I received an email from somebody I typically may not like so much, or the email is not in a very good tone, if, maybe few years back, I may have reacted to that email in the same tone. But what I have experimented and what has worked well also with me is, if I take a few moments, if I pause and I delay the response, my thought process changes, my view, my attitude towards the situation changes, and even my tone in the way I'm going to respond to the situation is going to change. So at times, just taking a pause, not being in the urgency of reacting rather than responding helps. Another interesting technique, and as I was mentioning about my experience of working, experiencing the program of Google's program, Search Inside Yourself, they shared with us an interesting tool which they called SBNRR. So whenever you're experiencing an overwhelming situation, an overwhelming emotion, just remember this: stop, take a breathe, notice what is happening to you. Notice which part of the body you're feeling it. What is the emotion? Try to name the emotion, reflect on it, and then respond. And so try to do this. Typically, when we learn these tools, don't do it in situations where probably the stakes are very high. Try and do it. Start with somebody at home, say for example, where you know that even if things go wrong, it can be managed. So start with somebody at home where you feel the urge to react. At that very moment, stop, take a breath, notice what's happening to you. If it's an emotion, try to name the emotion, reflect why is it happening, and then respond. If you do it with your spouse, they might be surprised what has happened to you. Why are you behaving in a different way? But that was on a light note, but it helps. It does surprise a lot of loved ones, but it would really help you. The third thing which I want to talk to you about is compassion. Compassion is a very, very important element of mindfulness. So mindfulness is actually a C, and there is a lot to talk about mindfulness. In this session, I thought compassion is something which I should truly talk about. When in the beginning of the session, we were talking about these unprecedented times, and all of us are together in it. Empathy, understanding each other is something that is the need of the hour. But remember one thing, it starts from self. So in mindfulness, when we talk about compassion, we first start with self. We say charity actually begins at home. Once you show compassion to yourself, it's only then when your glass is full, you will be able to pour it in the other's glass. In fact, it reminds me of an interesting story. There was a king once, and very, very well-known, famous king. He had won many wars. In fact, he had also he was known to be the great samurai, and he learned about a Zen master. When he learned about the Zen master, he wanted to meet him like anything. So he reached wherever the Zen master used to stay, and there was a small hut where the Zen master used to stay. And it was a very simple place, and he saw some of the students of the Zen master were around, and things like that. So when the king reached there, he was in a great hurry, and he saw one of the students, and he asks one of the students that, "Can I talk to your master?" So the student said, "The master is getting prepared to get into a meditation, so you will have to wait." To that, the king, who was already so impatient, he said that, "Okay, on my behalf, can you ask a question to the king? To the master." And so the student was a bit confused, but he said, "Okay, what is your question?" To which the king said, "Can you ask him what heaven is and what hell is?" So the student went inside the hut, and the Zen master was preparing himself to get into the meditation. The student told him what the situation is. There is a king waiting outside, and he's a famous king. He wants to meet you, but he has this question. And the student tells the question to the Zen master, and Zen master tells the student, "Please go and tell the king, look within, or look inside." And the student goes out and he tells the king, the Zen master is saying, your answer is look inside. The king got really excited and he thought, okay, maybe it's some sort of clue that he's giving me. Maybe I need to go inside the hut and check something. So he goes inside the hut, he looks for something, he doesn't find it. He comes out, he gets very irritated, very angry. He again goes inside the hut and he disturbs the Zen master and he says, are you making a fool out of me? I can actually kill you right now. And he takes out his sword and directs it towards the neck of the Zen master. And Zen master opens his eyes and he sees the guy in complete anger. To which the Zen master says, this is the hell. This is what you're showing me right now is hell. And the king understood what the Zen master is trying to say. And he completely, his face changed. The color of his face was earlier red and now it is neutral. And he asks for forgiveness and mercy. And he says, it was a big mistake he did. To which again the Zen master says, this is heaven. So heaven and hell is inside of us. And compassion really helps in getting in touch with that heaven of inside each one of us. I think we have some time and we can experience one more experiential activity in relation to compassion. And if you want, have a sip of water and just relax yourself. Just sit comfortably. Again, if you're wearing specs, please remove your specs. Take three deep breaths. Completely relax yourself. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Say thanks to your body. Sometime back, you got in touch with all parts of your body. Thank them. Thank them for supporting you so far, for coming so far here on this journey with you, for protecting you. Thank your legs for helping you move ahead. Thank your shoulders, thank your back for supporting you so far. Thank your stomach, as it is the life force energy. It is the seat of the gut energy. Thank your stomach for being there, for supporting you. Thank your lungs for being source of energy by providing you air, for letting you breathe every moment of your life so far. Thank your hands for getting all the tasks done without complaining. Thank your throat for helping you speak and stand up for yourself when needed. Show gratitude to your body. Thank your body. And just silently say to yourself, may I be well, may I be protected, may I be rested, may I be taken care of. Keep repeating this in your mind silently. May I be well, may I be rested, may I be protected, may I be taken care of. May I be well, may I be rested, may I be protected, may I be taken care of. And become aware that you are in touch with the Mother Earth. As you say this to yourself, now imagine saying this for the people you love, your family. Tell them, may you be well, may you be protected, may you be rested, and may you be taken care of. Imagine saying this to the people you love, to your family, then move to your friends, to your colleagues, maybe to your neighbors, to the people in your building, to your locality, to the state, to the country, to the world. Just imagine spreading this positivity, this prayer for everyone. May you be well, may you be protected, may you be rested, may you be taken care of. And bring back your awareness back to your breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, once again, inhale and exhale. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes slowly. I will give you a moment to pause, and in case you have a pen or a paper, write down what you're feeling, anything that is coming true to you currently. Take a pause, drink some water, and write down whatever you're feeling. I can see some responses in the chat also. Feeling relaxed, sense of happiness, peaceful, lovely. Thanks for sharing. I'm really happy that you're experiencing these emotions. Dipali, if there's anything on YouTube that you want to share.
It was response for the previous activity that,
Okay.
yeah, so people, like few people had tears coming out after the meditation. So they felt so much relaxed by the activity.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Tears is a very beautiful thing, actually. That means something positive is happening if you are getting tears. Something really positive is happening there. Something is moving.
Okay.
So I just want you to take a moment again, and if you can, like last time, go to menti.com, and what is one thing you will start doing now to practice mindfulness? If you can help me with this question, you can take a moment to reflect, and you can further, even after this session, you can take out time and think about it. I would urge you to actually, after going through this session, getting in touch with your body, understanding emotions, my invitation to you would be to actually sit down, take out some time, maybe not immediately, but whenever you're feeling more relaxed, peaceful, and write down what all can you do to bring this awareness into action into daily life. But if I have to ask you immediately, can you please help me and write one thing that you will start doing now to practice mindfulness? The code is 49418. Okay, we have started to receive a few responses. Conscious breathing, pause before reacting, taking care of my body, be calm, meditation. I'm really glad to hear and see all of this. I would urge all of you to respond, or most of you to respond. See, when you write and you share, you're also declaring and validating. So when you are actually sharing, although we can't see your name, who's sharing what, but still you're declaring it to the universe. And chances are higher that you are going to do it. So I would urge all of you today on this session, please share what is the one thing you will start doing now to practice mindfulness. Body scanning, being aware of sensations, taking care of body, peace, pause before reacting, conscious breathing. I'll wait for a few more seconds just to see if we're getting any more responses. Else we'll move to the next part of the session. Awareness of emotions. Okay, so as I said, please do take out time after the session whenever you feel like, today, tomorrow, and spend a little more time reflecting on whatever we have experienced in this session. What has been your takeaway? What can you implement? The important thing is, don't be harsh with yourself. Don't think, oh my God, I have been feeling only grief all this while, or I have been feeling only resentment or anger or whatever all this while. don't be harsh on yourself. It is completely fine. If you're feeling all that, that means you're human. It is human to feel all this. The point is that even after the awareness, if you don't do anything, then that's the sad part. So after the awareness, deep dive into that emotion, see where is it sitting in your body, work with it. And nothing is going to change overnight. But as long as the awareness is there, I think it's the first step, and the first step is actually half work done here. One moment. So we are almost towards the end, and this is what I had to share with you all. Thanks a lot for this opportunity and for this forum. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. So if you scan this QR code, it will lead you to my LinkedIn profile, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Would be happy to connect with you all. So this is what was from my side. Any questions we have? I'm sorry, I think I took a little bit more time, but we have around more than 10. So we have 10-12 minutes. And if there are any questions, we can talk about it, discuss.
Yes, Kanika. So we have one question in the chat that it's a 𝓵𝓲𝓯𝓮 sir from Don Bosco. He wants to ask that what should be the duration of meditation for mindfulness, time in minutes at one go? So is there any specific time we need to practice for meditation or practicing mindfulness? He wants to know.
So as far as, and I'm telling from my experience, and you see what works for you. About the time of the day, it can be practiced any time of the day. Usually people prefer before starting the day because it centers you, it relaxes you. But you can feel free to practice it any time of the day. Secondly, there is no so to say perfect response on the duration of meditation. See, it depends on what is the purpose. So there are ways to meditate even in 15 seconds. So for example, if I ask you to just breathe in, come in the moment, second breath, ask yourself what is important right now, and in the third breath, just open your eyes and then do what is important right now. So that means in a few seconds itself, you have meditated and you have come to the moment and you have anchored yourself. But there, for example, the kind of meditation we did took close to around 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So there is no ideal time for duration of meditation. Please take it as per your pace, as per your comfort. There is no perfect duration for meditation.
Okay. We have one more question. 1 minute. That is on YouTube. Now, Mr. 𝓑𝓱𝓪𝓽 wants to ask, experts in the field of success and achievement recommend to cultivate good habits to take advantage of autopilot mode of our mind. How to reconcile that with being mindfulness?
This is a great question. So, or being autopilot, or our habits have definitely served us. They had a survival purpose, and that is the reason that we have been working with them so far. Where the because of the lack of a better word, I will say problem, where the problem comes is when they overpower us. So if I know the purpose of my habit and I'm cultivating that habit, like they say, it takes 21 days to cultivate a habit. If I know, and in my whole awareness, I'm cultivating that habit, then you're doing that mindfully again. So So some cultivating certain habits have a survival purpose, yes, but they won't, as they say, what got you here won't take you there. So the mindfulness comes in play where okay, now something needs to change. Now I need to make a change in the way I've been doing things so far, I've been feeling so far, reacting so far. Probably it's not serving me any purpose. So that's where it can be reconciled. It's a very nice, interesting question, and there is a way to reconcile that.
Okay, one more question on YouTube is being asked by 𝓵𝓱𝓪𝓽. He wants to ask, is there any difference between EFT and mindfulness?
So we are getting into a different domain, but yes, I happen to know about EFT. EFT is emotional freedom therapy, and it is different than mindfulness. EFT is a technique that a therapist or you can use on yourself. I have not learned it and I have never used it on myself. I don't know really in detail about it. What I know is that it's a technique that a therapist may use. Mindfulness is all about that we spoke. It's mindfulness is not therapy. Please don't confuse mindfulness with any sort of a psychoanalytic or a psychotherapy. It's not that. Mindfulness is just being aware, and EFT is a therapy, is a mode of therapy.
Okay. Like I have a question from my side that when I was reading about mindfulness, I came across the term mindful eating. So I wanted to know what exactly is that, and if in case, like if possible, can you share some insights on that?
Yeah. So as I was saying, there is so much to talk about in mindfulness. There is so much to do in the space of mindfulness, but there is only this much we can do. But so mindfulness, when we say practicing mindfulness in daily life, and I'm just giving you a little long answer, Dipali. So mindfulness is one you can practice through meditation. Meditation is nothing but a form of a mental training, where you're training your mind to bring your attention back in here and now. So your mind may wander, you may get thoughts, which you should get as long as you're alive. But the purpose of the mental training or the meditation is to bring back those thoughts to your attention. And when you apply it in your daily life, when I'm in the moment in alignment with my emotion, with my body, when I'm eating, how many of us, when we are eating, and you don't need to reply to me, but either we are talking to someone, we are preoccupied with our thoughts, we are looking at a phone, we are watching TV. Mostly we are doing this, mostly we are distracted when we are doing, whether we are walking, whether we are eating or any work we're doing. So mindful eating is really about when you're having your food, are you aware of the fact that if you're eating this, for example, if I'm eating a chapati, that this wheat was actually being sown somewhere in some farmer's, farm, and he brought it to me here. It went through some middlemen who are involved in getting it to me. It came to a shop from which I bought this, and here it is now on my plate. So can you imagine from where it has come? So being mindful about that, to the fact that what is the color of the roti I'm eating? What is the color of the sabzi and the dal I'm eating? In fact, do this activity after this session. If you have any fruit, you have kishmish, raisin, or you have chocolate, anything at home. So pick one piece and first just observe it. Just observe how that thing is looking, the shape of that raisin or the chocolate or the fruit. If preferably have a small thing, a grape. Look at the color. Completely feel it, observe it through your senses, and then take it inside your mouth. And every second, feel the taste experience the taste it is giving you. I can guarantee that you're going to taste it very differently. And that is mindful eating. Mindful eating is being there with your food, showing gratitude, being aware of what is there in your plate, what is the color in your plate today. And every bite you're taking, you're mindful of that rather than being distracted with the outside world. So similarly, we have mindful walking also. And there are, many more such activities. It's, as I said, it's a way of life.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have few more questions, like if we have time. Pranati Gupta wants to ask, while practicing body scanning mindfulness for longer duration, how to deal with the negative thoughts that come in our mind?
So my short answer to that would be, in mindfulness, one of the attitudes or one of the important tenets that we say people to cultivate is of acceptance. It is much easier said than done, much used word, but without any judgment, you look at that emotion. You may even get picture of a person with whom that negative emotion is attached, or maybe that negative emotion is in relation to environment or situation. So just let it be there without any judgment. The moment you start fighting with it, you will start putting it or shoving it somewhere. And that's true with any emotion. If you try to subside or shove away any emotion, it's going to sprung back. The idea is to accept and work with it. So negative thought is going to come definitely. The more you think, it's like monkey mind. If I tell you, close your eyes and don't think about monkey, you're definitely going to see a monkey, right? So similarly, negative thoughts are going to come. So we're not going to tell you stop thinking about it. Let it be there. Practice for a while with looking at it without any judgment and accepting it. That's it. Don't make it a part of you. It is transitory again. It will go.
Okay, there is one more question, what I can see in the chat. Is the meditation posture important? As in, like, can we do it lying down? Is it important to sit straight, or can we do it lying down and meditate? Is it possible?
See, lying down, the only caveat is that you might fall asleep. So you can do it lying down. In fact, Shavasana is, the meditation where you do it lying down, you're relaxing your entire body. But what I have in my personal experience seen, most meditation, they, do it sitting in a sitting posture. If you are comfortable sitting with your leg folded and your back bit erect, otherwise sit on a chair with your feet touching the ground. If it's not comfortable to you, you do it lying down. Just be careful that you don't fall asleep.
Okay, so thank you, Kanika. I hope we have answered all the questions. Now, I would like to call Ms. 𝓶𝓲𝓷𝓭 to give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everybody. That was really a wonderful session. We all are so much immersed in the current moment that we forget what's going on around us. We are in a state of flow and peak performance. Maintaining a state of mindfulness leads to a relaxed state of well-being and maximum productivity. And from the fabulous session that Ms. Kanika Sharma just took, there is no doubt that we all as a participants realized that truly our life is shaped by our minds, for we become what we think. On behalf of the DBIT management and staff, and especially on behalf of the Cultural Committee of Don Bosco Institute of Technology, I, Professor 𝓶𝓲𝓯𝓮, express my sincere thanks to Ms. Kanika Sharma for accepting our invitation to conduct the session on mindfulness. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the management of Don Bosco Institute of Technology, Reverend Father Mario Vaz, Executive Director, DBIT, Reverend Father 𝓀𝓏 da Silva, Rector, DBCL. A special thanks to our Principal Ma'am, Dr. Prasanna Nambiar, for encouraging and motivating us in all our ventures. A special mention to Ms. Dipali Kayande, DBIT Cultural Coordinator. Faculty coordinators, Ms. Aruna, Mr. Sri Prasad, Mr. Madan, Mr. Sachin. Student coordinators, Mr. Wayne, Ms. Tejaswini, Ms. Saloni for their excellent coordination. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants for being a part of this webinar. Hope each one of us today carries a message. Live the actual moment. Only this actual moment is life. Thank you.
Thank you so much again for this opportunity. It was a very humbling experience for me, and I hope it was helpful and there is at least one takeaway for you all here. Be safe and be mindful. All the best to you all. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so
Thank
much,
you very much.
Kanika.
Yeah. Thanks for the session.
Thank you, Kanika.
Thank you.